Good morning. I'm Reverend Monica Driscoll, and this is Sunday, February 7th. And our daily word is inner peace. I express the peace of God. So why don't we get still as I share with you today's daily word. Peace, be still. With these words, Jesus claimed his authority and calmed the stormy waters. Following Jesus' example, I too claim authority. In a stressful moment, I center my awareness in the divine presence that lives in me and expresses through me. This divine presence is perfect life, love, and wisdom. It's a peace that nothing and no one can disturb. No matter what may be happening around me, at the center of my being, there is always peace. It is an aspect of my divine inheritance, as near as my next thought. I release all fear and tension and embrace the peace of God. As I do, divine peace radiates from the center of my being. It clarifies my thoughts, calms my emotions, and relaxes my body. In every situation, I am a presence of peace. In the Bible verses from Isaiah 26:3, those of steadfast mind you keep in peace, because they trust in you. So let's get still. Let's take this opportunity to go within, to that place where we can feel the peace of God. So I invite you to put both feet on the ground and your palms up to be open and receptive, and imagining your mind opening up as well as your heart, to be willing to listen to that still small voice of God. Because where our peace resides is where love is, where compassion sits. When we are willing to be open and receptive to all that God has in store for us, all the good stuff, we must be at peace with ourselves. But when we struggle to tap into God's resources, we create a barricade. We create a wall that separates us from God. Through the grace of God, this wall is imaginary. It does not really exist. For you and God are one and the same entity. For we use our mind to create, and God is within our mind, walking us through the creation process. So we get still. We allow ourselves to go within and become at peace. To be at peace where we are right now, disregarding all outer circumstances and all that awaits us and all that has already happened. We allow ourselves to just be still. Quiet our minds and the monkey talk. You are made in the image and likeness of God, and it is filled with love. So we embrace this knowingness. We grab hold of the notion that you and God are one. You are the same entity. Your understanding of God presents itself in your outer environment. So we think good thoughts. We think thoughts of peace. And if anxious thoughts or fear thoughts enter our minds, we just take a nice deep breath and say, not now, for I am at peace. And when I am at peace, no outer circumstances can interrupt that flow. When I am at peace, my world clickety-clacks along with no obstacles. We just breathe into this connectedness with God. We are at peace. You and I, all of us, are members of this beautiful family we call the family of God. Everyone is invited. When we walk through this open door, embraced by the loving, caring, compassionate God, we are at peace. So I invite you now to just go into the silence for a brief moment. So let that peace envelope you, surrounding you with love. So I invite you now to just gently return to this moment of now, and in your own way, give gratitude for the peace that passes all understanding. And so it is. Amen. And so it is. Amen. I hope you bought your lottery tickets, your raffle tickets, I should say, for all the wonderful baskets in our community room. And we'll be notifying the winners soon. But if you haven't purchased them and you would like to, please notify the office and we'll see that you have a window to do that. So we also have an annual meeting coming up, which we're going to be doing via Zoom. If you've not renewed your membership, please do so ASAP. So if you've not gotten any emails about renewing your membership, please notify the office so we can send you that notification. So we're back in February, and we're still inside. Uh, Let me rephrase that. We are still doing things by Zoom, but we see a light at the end of the tunnel, and I know that I'm not alone with this thinking. I can't wait to open back up, truly. So we'll take it little by little, but we can see that light at the end of the tunnel. It gets bigger and bigger with each passing day. So hang in there with us, and I do hope you're listening to the talks. And by the way, if you want to go to our YouTube channel, if you've not been participating with our spirit groups, all of the videos are on that our YouTube channel. Please feel free to subscribe, because then you get a notification when something's been posted. So all of our spirit groups, we have one more week of spirit groups, and we're going to be looking at the book. You cannot sleep through your awakening will be our next format. And it will not be quite like our spirit groups, but very similar. So more to come on that as well. So today's talk, I wanted to talk to you about. I titled it "The Gem Inside." You know, haven't any of us ever heard the notion, "Boy, you're a piece of work," and that conjures up all of this stuff. You're a piece of work, and it was never meant to be a positive. It was a derogatory statement, right? So you certainly don't want to use that statement. But you are a piece of work. And what if we turned it around and discovered that you not only are a piece of work, but you're a gem. You're a gem waiting to be discovered. Waiting for that moment to pop, and everything kind of falls into place. That wonderful notion that we might have been taught that your day will come, you know. But what if you discovered that your day is right here, right now? Now, we know this intellectually, but that isn't what we're talking about. This is beyond what our mind conjugates. It's more about how do we put together all of these things. You know, in the book What Are You by Melanie Shanklin, so much of what she talks about is the law of mind action. The law of mind action is such a powerful tool. You see, the law of mind action is so powerful because our minds create what we give that attention in our mind to do. So if we give our attention to negativity, we receive negativity. When we give attention to our body to be diseased, to be not comfortable with something, we create more disease. Goofy, huh? But that's the will of God. You see, God has given us this ability to create anything we want, anything, with no judgments. If you create negativity, you create negativity. If you create positivity, you create positivity. You are in charge. And if we're going to be in charge of something, let it be what we want to create. You see, the government or any outside force isn't your source of supply. God is. You have to make use of the tools that are given to you. And the tools come from your mind. You see, it's not out there. It's not that you're waiting for something to happen. You make it happen. You want love in your life? You got to be love. You want a better job in your life? You got to be really good at what you're doing, because then you'll be given a better job. You see, because that's the psychology behind the thinking. You see, it's been proven over and over again that we create our universe. We've got this tumultuous thing happening in our government system, and what role do we play in that? How are we furthering the negativity? By our thinking. You see, because the universe will respond based on our thinking. So let's work together. Let's cooperate together. Let's ensure that we are moving in the right direction that we really want to move in. You see? We can't keep saying negative things and expecting not to have a negative result. You see, the gem in I is what motivates us, is what pushes us. Do you want to be right about the negativity, or do you want to be right about the positivity? You get to decide. It's a choice, you see? Because where we are as a human race is because we're standing on the shoulders of those that came before us. And part of that is that we didn't discover the rolling brook created energy. Somebody else did. And so now we get to operate with that gift. And you see, we operate on all the gifts so that we can create more gifts that benefit others. And that's the gem. We don't want our obituary to say all these accolades about us. Why not have it be said about us now? Be that entity. Because we have 3 resources available to us. Everybody equally. Nobody is left behind. Nobody's shortchanged. We have our brain. Let's use it. We have our bodies. Let's make sure that we give our bodies what it needs. And we have our environment. You see, because the mind works together with our body and our environment to create whatever that is that we want to create. You see, when we talk about going into the silence and tapping into the resources of God, because everything you will ever need is right there already. You don't have to pray to receive something. You pray you pray for the wisdom and guidance to use the gift, because it's already there. It's already waiting for you. You have to perfect it. If you continually eat junk food, and however that term is defined by you, because junk food to Tom Brady is not junk food to me, right? So we all have our different understanding of what junk food is. Junk food to me is anything that I can buy in a fast food window, you know? So I don't want that stuff in my body. But our mind also feeds our body. Also feeds our body. I read a story this past week of a woman that passed away at 122 years old, and she's the oldest documented person. We have a few other folks that say they lived longer than that, but there's no documentation to prove. But anyway, she died at 122 years old. And of course, they asked her, what do you think is the reason you've lived so long? And she said, because I did things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to do things that were fulfilling to me. And it didn't involve anybody else. They asked her, how come she quit smoking? And she said, well, when I was 94, I was shaking so bad, I got tired of asking people to help me light my cigarette. She smoked till she was 94. We're talking a pack of cigarettes. How does that fit? Because they brought her pleasure. They brought her pleasure. She didn't buy into that this was harmful. And it did not affect her body. Her mind ruled that subject. And our mind can rule it as well. Our mind can rule it as well. Watched a B movie last night. Brought laughter to me, but I wouldn't recommend it. But there's a scene in the movie where the main character is sitting at a desk with a priest. And she's trying to get him to have a dialogue with her about hypotheticals. And so she opens up the conversation. Hypothetically, if there's a hell. And he says, no, there is a hell. He says, well, let's just pretend. No, there is hell. Well, let us just, no, hell is right below us. He was so emphatic about it, right? So she had to give up this notion that he was ever going to compromise with her, right? Because when we get so emphatic about what we think we know, we create an obstacle in our willingness to serve God. You see, some of us have this notion that serving God means we have to give things up. We don't. No, not at all. Serving God is about following the wisdom and guidance of God. Because God leads us always to our good, and yet we will hesitate. We don't want to become willing to follow God. It might lead us to a place we don't want to be. We have to be willing to let go of that which no longer serves us, because the gem is sitting there. Every once in a while, we polish it and it shines and then it fades. How do we keep that gem polished, so clean and clear? How do we do that? We do that by turning inward. We do it by turning inward to God so that we are following the guidance of God. And then we let our mind create magnificent things. You want peace in your life, you have to practice peace. You want to be good at anything, you must practice your trade. Today's daily word, peace. Inner peace. Inner peace. Just coming back from vacation, and a lot of times I didn't find inner peace. It was too bloody cold. I want to play. And I got stuck in this vortex of cold, and it so brought my energy down. And I had to grab hold of myself and go, Mo, this is not bringing you inner peace. You're angst with the weather. Be still. Breathe. Breathe in the joy of God in your life. And I would get that moment of peace and have it linger on into my restful sleep. We find reasons to get angst, to bring up turmoil in our lives. And my God, we have plenty of reasons to be at distress level. We waited for this pandemic to pass. It didn't pass. We're waiting for the vaccine. Some of us have gotten it, some of us haven't. Some of us are waiting for the second vaccine. It's this cycle. Where's the trust? Where's the level of clarity that all will be well? Instead, we read all the hiccups with it. Where are you in your peace? Where's your inner peace? What will it take for you to have that inner peace? Because isn't that the best gem of them all? You're a piece of work, honey, and I love you. Wow. I love who you are. I love your expressions of God. What a whole different mindset when you take that on with all of your neighbors and friends. You are a gem. I am a gem. If you're not happy with some part of your life, then change it. Tap into the resources of God because they're all sitting there. Everything you need is sitting there waiting for you. I love what Donna Fraley has done for herself. You know, she's got a busy calendar now. She's out there. She's out there singing, doing her gig. But she didn't get that overnight. She had to work at it. She had to constantly promote herself to be able to open those doors that normally would have been closed. Doors open up to us when we are willing to do what it takes to get through that door. This is Super Bowl Sunday. You know, Tom Brady, and one of the oldest quarterbacks ever, is playing one of the youngest quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes. They didn't wake up being able to throw a football. They have sacrificed a lot to get there. Tom Brady has worked on his body to ensure that nothing goes in that doesn't enhance his trade. He's worked at it. And he benefits from that success. He is clearly the most successful quarterback ever. No one can doubt that. And there will be others who will surpass him because he's laid the foundation for what it takes. And people out there are modeling him. I got a recipe I'm going to try for his guacamole. There's no chips. Oh my God, what? Ah. I'm going to try it. There are gifts for each of us, no matter what you've been called to do or how you have not been called yet. You are facilitating the foundation for a closer relationship with God. You are the gem of it all. You are the reason there is a reason. You see, tapping into the resources of God, the law of mind action is a phenomenal tool. But we've doubted ourselves over the years. Don't doubt. Don't doubt. It's yours. It's yours to create anything you want. You want to be an internet sensation? Do some homework on it. Create it. Find out what others are doing. You got to do your homework. Be that. Be that. You got to immerse yourself in it. If you like gardening, then your life is filled with the herbs and the essence and the birds and the smells and the aromas of a fresh tomato that you've created. You must do the work. You must do what your guidance is telling you to do to facilitate this greatness within you. I say, let's find some usefulness for fire ants. Let's find a way that we can be used, but fire ants can be the best thing ever invented. Maybe there's somebody out there that can do that. You are a gem. Don't let anybody tell you you're not. You are made in the image and likeness of God. If you're not happy with some facet of your life, then change it. Change it. It is as simple as saying, this chair doesn't make me comfortable. Change the chair. If some aspect of your life is not okay, be willing to seek God's guidance on how to rectify it. To rectify it. You can do anything you set your mind to do. Dick Larson is taking on a whole new facet of his life with studying Joel Goldsmith. He's starting a class on it. He's never done this before. He liked the material and he wants to share it with others and have a dialogue. So he created it. What a gem. I so hope that you'll join him. Reach out to him if you'd like to. But Joel Goldsmith was one of the greatest writers in New Thought. And he's tapping into that resource because it's so relevant to today. So he's going to become the gem of Joel Goldsmith. It's not going to take a week. It's going to take some time to develop this. And he's immersing himself in this. And he will become as proficient as he desires to be. He'll continue to do this until he says, I've had enough. I want to go do something else. It's built in within us to express. It's part of our makeup to connect with God and to create. Use your gem to create something, whatever that is. Steve Camp is creating a following of people of like mind. He creates his blog. He addresses it. He reaches out to those. And he can be counted on for our Wednesday prayer service. Never missed a Wednesday. It's awesome. We have a small team that makes sure that the daily word is available to anybody who wants it at 7 a.m., Monday through Saturday. We have gems within our community. You're a gem. Be the light. Be the light. Be that gem that opens up a portal so that others can benefit. You are made in the image and likeness of God, and don't let anybody else tell you you're not. Walk away from those naysayers. Walk away from those people who don't see the gift in you. I see those gifts. Let's manifest these gifts. We have spirit groups. It's a great way to connect with some material and to delve inside and see what is it you think and where can some shifts and changes take place. Because we're about transforming our lives. How do you want your life to be transformed? How do you want your life to be different? I want to live to be 125, healthy 125 years. There might be some areas of my life that I might want to stop doing because they don't align with that notion. What's yours? Are you in a health crisis? How do you get out of it? How do you get out of a health crisis? You trust. You trust that God is within you, pushing you to be bigger and better than you ever thought possible. And should your life end in this form, it's okay. You have another opportunity. Einstein never said no until he got it right. Well, we don't get to say no until we get it right. So keep plugging along. Keep plugging along and be positive, uplifting to those around you, because you will receive that in likeness. And it comes from all different sources, doesn't it? God is an unlimited resource for us. Let's make good use of it. Let go of those things that no longer serve you. Do your own personal closet clean out. Be a gem. Let your gem shine forth. Godspeed. Thank you for listening. And we are open and receptive to your gifts and tithes. Please mail them to the church or walk into our Tithely app and make your donation that way. Godspeed, and I love you. And so it is. Amen.